live from the British Colonial Hilton Hotel, Dare to be Great, with Master Motivator, Spence Finlayson. Good evening and welcome to Dare to be Great. This evening I have a very special guest in the person of Dr. Combie, a psychiatrist from Sandlands Rehabilitation Center. But we'll talk more about her later on in the program. I want to start off tonight's show talking about adversity, dealing with adversity. You know, a life without difficulties is a classroom without lessons. Life is difficult, thank God. The problems we overcome allows us to experience the richness of life and its accompanying joy. Adversity adds spice to life and makes a wonderful teacher. Don't the hardships we undergo create reality? The ability for us to bear them? Is it possible to live through disaster without growing stronger? I'll let you answer these questions for yourself. Before emerging from its cocoon, the young monarch butterfly has a fat body and folded with limp wings. It is hardly an image of strength and beauty. It cannot free itself from the cocoon without a long struggle. As it pushes, strains, and convulses, liquid forms from its body, forced into the veins of its wings. Bit by bit, the wings extend and grow stronger. Bit by bit, an increasing amount of pressure is placed against the walls of the cocoon. At last, a slim monarch with robust wings break free. We are all monarchs. Our cocoon is our comfort zone. Do you expect to break free without a struggle? Do you expect to fly before extending and straightening your wings? Do you see how the obstacles we face are not our enemies, but our friends? Our physical eyes weaken as we grow older, but our spiritual eyes should improve with age. What was seen as a devastating disaster in our youth later appears as a less threatening obstacle. As we grow in experience and wisdom, worrisome obstacles become less fearful and are reduced to a difficult challenge. Later, the difficult challenges are viewed as valuable lessons, and valuable lessons become wonderful opportunities. At last, we reach the point where every misfortune is seen as a blessing in disguise. Each obstacle that comes our way is like a delicious fruit with a bitter skin. It's our attitude that determines whether we benefit from this misfortune. The same furnace that melts gold also hardens clay. With each, and it's right? Yes, come on, yes. The same furnace that melts gold also hardens clay. Now, with each affliction, those who have a hardened attitude, with each affliction, those who have a hardened attitude grow harder, more callous, and cynical. Yet those who willingly allow themselves to be forced, hammered, and shaped by adversity, endlessly growing into a bitter person, endlessly blooming into a flower to behold. The greatest lesson suffering has to teach us is how others feel when tragedy hits them. Our experience makes us more compassionate. Some learn at an early age. For example, the young girl who climbed the hill with a baby on her back, when someone said to her, "The baby is too heavy for you," she responded, "He's not heavy, he's my brother." Oh, come on, man. Yeah. He's not heavy, he's my brother. But you know, tonight, friends, I want you to look at someone right now on your right and left and shake their hand for me and say, whatever you're seeking, it's also seeking you. Shake somebody's hand. It's okay. He isn't heavy, he's my brother. And you've heard that into a song some years ago. But remember, adversity builds character. The challenges we face teach us resourcefulness, self-reliance, courage, patience, perseverance, and self-discipline. Cold winters, heavy downpours, and scorching heat are unavoidable. So is adversity. So why fight it? Accepting its inevitability and resigning yourself to it before it strikes is the first step in overcoming adversity. Live with hope, for to live without hope is to live with despair. Resurrect yourself from the tumultuous storm as a glowing rainbow. Become a ray of hope and a beacon of light for others to follow. Tune out your imagination, which blows everything out of proportion, and focus on the real world. And finally, remember, the misfortunes hardest to bear are those that never happen. And our fear of harm always exceeds the harm we fear. God bless you as you live your best life now.
This is the most magnificent life has ever been. Here is heaven and earth and the brilliant sky in between. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive.
At Virgo Car Rental, there's only one number to remember, $49.99. Choose from compact or mid-sized cars, and they're all just $49.99. And passenger vans that are $69.99. Also, with daily, weekly, and monthly rates available, you can enjoy even more savings. Visit us at any one of our convenient locations or enjoy our courtesy shuttle pickup and drop-off service to all hotels and airports. Virgo Car Rental. It's where you drive the best for less.
Good evening. My guest this evening is Dr. Eugenie Combie, a psychiatrist at Sandlands Rehabilitation Center. Welcome to Dare to Be Great.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. Dr. Combie, what is depression?
Depression is a medical illness that affects both our brain and our body. And the symptoms that are usually associated with depression are this depressed mood. People talk about feeling sad, feeling down. And usually they say that they do not have pleasure from doing things that they usually enjoyed. These feelings usually last for more than 2 weeks, and it's a feeling that they have most of the day, every day. But other symptoms you might notice is that they have problems sleeping. So they say they can't fall asleep. If they do fall asleep, they wake up early in the morning, they can't go back to sleep. But sometimes you see individuals sleep more than usual. So they tend to stay in the bedroom and they're in the bed whole day.
Wow.
Also, appetite changes. Some tend not to eat that much, but others eat more than usual.
So it could go to either extreme.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the thought process might be slowed down. They might move slowly, but others can become agitated. There's this feeling of worthlessness, guilt for things that you know they're not responsible for. And if it's not attended to, they can reach the point where they start feeling hopeless.
I was just about to
And
ask that.
then it can lead to suicidal thoughts and behaviors.
Wow, amazing. Now, what causes depression?
Sometimes we do not know the exact cause, but we know that it can be caused by one factor or more than one factors. Usually they can be genetic, biological, or environmental. But these factors, they put the individual at risk, or they can precipitate depression. So we know that because of our genetic makeup, we are at risk for a lot of medical illnesses. If there's a family with a history of depression, you can be at risk when you have other stresses of developing depression. Also, because of the medications we give and the success with these medications, we know that deficits in the brain of chemicals that we call neurochemicals, which are very important for transmitting messages in the brain, can put you at risk for depression. And the environmental factors are everyday stresses, so the loss of a loved one,
Yes.
the breakup of a relationship, problems at work, problems at home, legal, financial problems, substance abuse, be it alcohol, marijuana, crack cocaine, and sometimes people just, for whatever reason, might not know what is causing them to feel that way.
So all of these things contribute to depression, cause the depression. Now, can depression be treated?
Like other medical illnesses, depression is treatable. And we should treat it because if we do not do that, then the symptoms can worsen. And as I said, we reach the point of hopelessness and suicide. So treating depression can save lives. Now, the treatment we give depends on the extent of the symptoms or the severity of the symptoms. So we have medications.
Like Prozac?
And then we have psychotherapy, or what we usually call talk therapy.
Okay.
So depending on the extent of the depression, we might have just talk therapy, just medications, or we might have a combination of both.
Years ago, they used to use something called shock therapy.
Oh, okay, that's what we call electroconvulsive
Yeah, the
therapy.
EKG type thing.
Where we put electrodes to the brain and we administer electrical shock to the brain. And most times they would show some improvement.
You know, they would shock them out of the depression, basically.
No, we believe that that procedure would cause changes in the same neurochemicals in the brain and cause the person to have an improvement in the depressed state.
Wow, okay. Now, Dr. Combie, what is the difference between depression and the blues? Sometimes people just have the blues, or they can be depressed. So what is the major difference between depression and the feeling of the blues?
Well, the blues is like feeling sad, feeling down. And everybody goes through the blues because when we are confronted with difficult events in life, as I said, loss of a loved one, maybe problems at work, problems on the job, financial problems, we do feel down, okay? But this usually lasts for a few days, a few weeks, and it would go away. It won't affect us that we don't really enjoy life, okay? And we also have what we call postpartum blues. Like sometimes if a lady has had a child, after delivery, when she goes back home, she might find herself feeling sad. That's in the first few days or few weeks. She might be crying for no reason at all. She might be irritable, impatient, anxious. That too tends to resolve with help of the partner, family or friends. But once we see, as I said, the symptoms almost every day, more than 2 weeks, and it starts to interfere with their functioning, be it at work, at home, or in their relationships, then we have to start thinking that maybe it's a major depression.
Wonderful. At this point, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
We will be right back after these messages, so don't you dare touch that remote.
The most magnificent life has ever been. Here is heaven and earth and the brilliant sky in between. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive.
At Virgo Car Rental, there's only one number to remember, $49.99. Choose from compact or mid-sized cars, and they're all just $49.99. And passenger vans that are $69.99. Also, with daily, weekly, and monthly rates available, you can enjoy even more savings. Visit us at any one of our convenient locations or enjoy our courtesy shuttle pickup and drop-off service to all hotels and airports. Virgo Car Rental. It's where you drive the best for less.
Welcome back to Dare to Be Great. My guest tonight is Dr. Eugenie Combie, a psychiatrist at Sandlands Rehabilitation Center. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Combie, there's been a spate of suicides in the country as of late. It may be unprecedented, I'm not sure, but I know there have been a number of them in succession right here. Should we take everyone serious who talks about committing suicide?
There's this myth that if somebody says they're going to commit suicide, then they won't do it. But I think we should take them seriously from the point of view that you should be thinking, why is they feeling that way? Are they depressed? And your concern should want you to ask questions like, how long have you been feeling that way? How do you plan to commit suicide?
These are questions you ask of the
You ask
person.
the individual. I mean, do they plan to use medications, lethal substances? Then you want to know, are these substances available at home? Medications, lethal substances. And if it's something that they've thought of and they've had a plan, have they thought of when they are going to do it? Now, if they give you answers to that, you need to kind of reassure that individual that there is help to make them feel better. And you try to direct them to seek help. But not all might answer these questions. But the very fact that they have mentioned it, you have to direct them to seek help, whether it's to talk to a member of the clergy, to see a mental health professional, or their family doctor, the community nurse, but at least to talk to somebody.
Okay, what are some of the potential suicide warning signs to look for in an individual? What are some signs of this person who may be thinking about going that route?
Well, we already spoke about depression, and definitely by the time the hopelessness sets in, there is the risk of the individual having the suicidal thoughts. So you would see the changes in sleep pattern, the isolation, the guilt, the crying spells. Then the individual says, I feel like I don't want to live anymore. I feel like killing myself, okay? And then they act on it, because you notice that they seem to be putting their house in order. So some people might be giving away possessions that they...
That's a clear sign, eh?
They really
People
liked.
giving away their valuable possessions?
They might talk about maybe wanting to do up a will. Some of them might start making arrangements to sign over property to family or friends.